'Twas the night afore Christmas down here in Newfoundland, and there was ice and big snowdrifts aplenty on hand. With the kids all sleeping upstairs in the loft, and mother in the kitchen cooking up a big scoff. Then I was cutting some splits for the stove, and mother was baking some bread, just 4 loaves, with peas pudding and cabbage, some spuds and corned beef. Just thinking about it, sure 'twill be a fine feast. Then down to the wharf there rose some big clatter. I thought that George Murphy fell off the flake ladder. I runs to the door like a clap of a bell, caught me toe on the rug, and be jumpins I fell. As I gawked in the garden and out on the bay, by the cat got me tongue, I had nothing to say. I thought to myself, screech is all right, but a little too much will muck up your sight. As me eyes came accustomed to the wind and the snow, is this what it's like when your mind starts to go? I thought for the minute that me noggin come loose, but there was a punt pulled by 8 hardy moose, and a fat little skipper with a whore in his hand. He was sitting and sculling the punt from the land. Then up through the garden the punt she fair came, and I heard the red skipper call each moose by name. Now move along, Brian and John and Bill. Get up there, Mulrooney, to the top of the hill. And then he hollered to the ones in the front, now Jerry and Nell, keep pulling this punt to the top of the shed and then onto the roof. You could tell they was up there by the sounds of the oofs. Then over the loft there rose such a clatter, and I thought what might happen if them moose was much fatter. I was feared for the second the shingles might peel from the scraping and scratching of the punt's keel. He stood for a minute to size up the place, with black soot and ashes all over his face. I thought to myself as I gawked at the man what fine sealskin mittens he had on his hands, and glossy new gumboots to cover his feet. I couldn't imagine how he kept them so neat. He had a sou'wester whose color was red, and this he had perched on the back of his head, with them fine red oilskins like I never saw afore, that fitted too tight and reached down to the floor. His face was worn and weathered and wrinkled, but his sparkling blue eyes still held a twinkle. And now when I looked, I saw naught but his back, as he wrestled and juggled the gifts in his sack. Then to the mantel, as he lifted the socks, apples and oranges and small toys in a box, he topped off each one for the girls and the boys with a small bag of bullseyes and small wooden toys. He looked so happy and jolly and fine as he took a great gulp of the dogberry wine. He tasted the fruitcake and then figgy duff. Then he spoke to hisself, "'Tis sure is fine stuff." He tied up the sack with a big granny knot, then rested his hands on the top of his pot. Now to the chimney he rose with a dash, as his eyes crossed the room with a flicker and flash. Now I must say that he cut a fine figure as he slipped up the chimney like a bright squid jigger. He walked across the roof back to the front, and I feared he might slip as he got in the punt. The house gave a shake from the roof to the floor. Has Santa took charge, or the big scullin' whore? Then down through the garden and on to the bay, midst the clamour of hoofs, I heard him say, "'Tis another year gone. God bless you and yours. May he grant you fair winds as you bend at the oars. And a very Merry Christmas to all of yous."
Terrific. Now,